All right, welcome back to the program. It is still People's Voice on VOP TV. Anambra State Governor Chukwuma Soludo has been declared the winner of the November 8th governorship election by the Independent National Electoral Commission. Soludo of the All Progressive Grand Alliance, APGA, secured 422,664 votes, defeating his closest rival, Nicholas Okachukwu of the All Progressive Congress, who polled 99,445 votes. Soludo won in all 21 local government areas, marking a landslide victory. The election was largely peaceful despite reports of vote buying and voter apathy. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC arrested 3 suspects for vote buying, while INEC dismissed allegation of widespread electoral malpractices. With Soludo's victory, he and his running mate, Onyeka Ibezem, are expected to receive their certificate of return from INEC in the coming days, securing Soludo's second term in office until 2030. We're now being joined by Chief Peter Ame, former National Chairman, IPAC, Political Economics, Political Party Management Strategies, Governance, Policy, and Development Analysis. You're welcome on the show, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining again. All right, quickly, we're also being joined by Dr. Emmanuel Eze, who is also the President of Ebonyi Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines, and Agriculture. Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you, Sylvia, and thank you for having me. Peter, good to see you.
Good to see you, Dr. Eze.
So I decided to pull this stunt without informing the both of you that I'll be bringing the both of you on board today. So it's lovely for you to, to exchange your greetings and to ignite, that particular fire. I know that the both of you have been good friends for a while now, So let me just throw it open to you, Dr. Eze. We had so many stories, and of course, you sent me a very disturbing article, okay, which I understand where that is coming from. But I would like you to give your comments before I go to Chief Peter Ame. What do you think about this just concluded election? And of course, what can you say as regards to your comments on Soludo's victory?
Thank you so much. Let me start by saying that I want to also congratulate Professor Soludo. The run up to 2021 election, Soludo was not just Anambra governor. He represented a symbol for all of us coming from the intellectual angle. We saw Soludo as a thorn, as a bright light in a long dark tunnel. And we had so much expectation. So when we say Soludo is not doing well, is that we had an expectation that he was going to do far better. But on the average, he has done well. And then let's go back to what happened last Saturday. For any strategist and any analyst, it was also clear where the ball was rolling. And I want us to understand the dynamics of Anambra. P2B built Anambra, the structure, the so-called APGA structure in Anambra. If you understand the history, Peter built that structure. And that structure was a ground machine. It would be difficult to defeat APGA in Anambra because of the structure that was built. So that legacy is actually P2B's legacy. Now, I wrote an analysis just before the election, and I said the only way Soludo can be defeated is if the opposition can come together and rally around one person, using the obedient movement as a vehicle. That didn't happen. We had about 15 of them. Many of them are also celebrating just to be on the ballot. But that is the lesson we must take away. As long as the opposition parties are in disarray, as long as people are happy to just be on the ballot, we cannot defeat the incumbent. People just want to answer, yes, I was a candidate, Your Excellency, and all that. And that is what matters for most of them. Now, for those who are criticizing PO, is also in bad taste. PO really has no skin in the game. Like you said, if you understand Anambra well, all these people are actually PO's brothers, contemporary. I'm from Ebonyi. And if you understand, I started from being an Anambrian. I became an any good person and a boy. So in a way, we all together. So Soludo remained the brightest candidate of all in the lineup. So we're not really surprised. The only way he could have been defeated if there had been if the opposition had come together and said, look, let's present somebody better than Soludo, who had a better plan. All these lackluster candidates who are all running in silos, there's no way they can defeat an incumbent. With the kind of structure, APGA structure in Anambra, it's difficult. And I'm happy Dr. Peter May is here. I hope we can take this as a lesson as we move on to 2027. That one, the only way we can defeat the incumbent is if we can use the obedient movement to mobilize people to vote. The last election was less than 23 or 24%. And I did an analysis. I said, look, with 5 billion, and any of the candidates can buy up the election. PO was not ready to buy any votes. So really, he just did his thing, and like a gentleman he did his thing and walked away. So nobody should blame P2P. Peter is not on the ballot. And it also shows, because of the experience we had with our candidates who rode on the back of PO, that you can no longer transfer PO's votes to any candidate who passing by. If you are, the obedient movement must see you as one of us. And that is why in the build-up to a new Labour Party, all of us are getting involved. The obedient movement, obedient disciples are going to own our structure, our manage our structure, and understand that the only way we can defeat an incumbent who is ready to buy votes is to mobilize. If we had about 2 million or 1.5 million people who come out to vote, nobody could have bought the election. How much? We are talking about how much? So with just less than 500,000.
I want to confirm something, Doctor.
Yes.
Are we talking about vote buying here? Because I'm not getting the line. So I want you to be more clear.
No. What the point I'm trying to make, I was trying to relate it to the analysis I made.
Okay.
In fact, I held vote buying as a constant. I knew there was going to be vote buying. And vote buying will work if we have few numbers who come out to vote. But the only way we can defeat vote buying is we're able to mobilize a number that you can buy. You can buy 1.5 million votes. So in my analysis, vote buying was held constant because I know it was going to be in the question, and it did happen.
All right, hello, Doctor. I'd like you to hold your thoughts. We have a caller.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening to you.
This is Enya calling you from Lagos.
Please go ahead.
I want to first of all start with notifying you of finally my analysis that Soludo will win with a landslide victory. I've said it over and over again. Fine, and it came to pass just as I said. But let's look. I totally disagree with my caller, the caller that is speaking, that Soludo won.
That's one of the guests on the show. So please.
Okay, sorry, the guest on the show, right, that Soludo won because of the P2B structure. I totally disagree with that. Sorry, that's my with all apologies. But the point I want to make, which I told you earlier, if you remember, I said the moment Soludo, if you remember very well, when Tinubu came to Anambra, Soludo supported vowed that APGA will support him in his 2027 re-election, and I told you that was a
Inaya, can you
I'm with you. I'm with you.
I'd like you to hold your thoughts. I think Doctor is still speaking.
Okay.
We're not hearing him. That's why the interference. We don't even hear what he's saying. The person, the caller.
Okay, Chief Ahmed, can you hear the caller?
I can't hear the caller. Doctor, so I continued.
I'm not hearing the caller.
Okay, doctor, you know what? As soon as the caller is done, I would tell you everything he has said, please. Just hold on, please.
So, if you remember very well, hello?
Yeah, please, you have to be fast about this. Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. If you remember very well, when Tinubu came to Anambra, I don't know, for inauguration, Soludo vowed support for 2027 re-election, and then that I told you there was a code agreement that the federal might will not come upon Anambra State. And if you look at the APC campaign, no governor. Normally, the governor should rally around their own, but no governor came to support the APC candidate in Anambra State. So that would tell there was a code agreement that had been reached, and that gave Soludo a massive slight victory. But I have said it so many times. To me, Soludo is just an average governor. He is just an average performer, because based on the resources and his intellectual, believe me, there is nothing he has done to power attracting investors. So I will call him an average governor, but all the same,
right.
Congratulations to him.
Thank you so much, Inaya.
Thank you.
All right, quickly, let me mention what the caller said. He talked about his predictions coming to pass as regards to predicting a landslide victory for Governor Soludo. And of course, he said he was totally against what Dr. Eze said as regards to Soludo riding on the structure that Peter Obi built. Okay, that what really won the election for Governor Soludo was the code agreement that Governor Soludo had, with the president when he paid, a visit to the states. And of course, that's the reason why you can see that the APC does not the APC in the state does not have the federal might coming to weigh in and to assist, in whatsoever that was done as regards to the election. Okay, so basically, these were submissions, and of course, he's been reiterating that Governor Soludo is just like any average governor that is just there. So it's not like he's doing something more or quite magnificent compared to some governors, which I remembered when I brought the senior special advisor to Governor Soludo, Eze Igwe, to the show, Daniel Eze Igwe. Inaya called and he did head-to-head with him, as regards to comparing him with a few other states, eastern state governors. But of course, that's what he talked about. So, Dr. Eze, I'd like you to quickly wrap up your submission so I can go to Chief Ahmed. Please go on.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think pretty much what we are saying is something. The picture was clear. So Soludo was going to win. And those who are alluding to federal character, we must also look at Governor Obia, and also won the entire local government. So the issue again is that APGA has a structure. And for you to defeat APGA, you must come with a better structure and a better game plan. And those who think that, and I think that one of the ways they could have done that is for the opposition to come together and present a credible candidate. That didn't happen. Okay. And we worked in silos. All right. And like I said, now, the lesson for me is more important. The lesson for us is that as we move ahead and move on, we in opposition must also realize that we cannot continue to operate in silos. That is the weakness in the system. Everybody wants to answer, I did it, I can do it alone. We must come together. That is why I'm also happy about the so-called coalition. At the end of the day, we must find a way to have a platform. We want everybody to say, look, it is us, the people, but it's those who are holding us down. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much, Doctor. Okay, of course, I'll be coming to you later, but let's go to Chief Ahmed now. Hello, Chief Ahmed, are you there, sir? Chief Ahmed, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
All right, I can hear you loud and clear. Thank you again for joining the program. So quickly, I would like to bring you up to speed before I take you on the question. Some weeks ago, Governor Soludo, while he was moving here and there for his campaign, he mentioned on the stage and he said, for every ward, for every local government, AYZ person that would give me this amount of people as regards to votes, you know, you have this amount of money, that amount of money, that amount of money. Are we going to say that that particular promise actually, you know, worked well for him now? What factors contributed to Soludo's landslide victory in Anambra governorship election? And of course, how did Soludo's campaign, you know, which we all remember, you know, how he said some things. Okay, so how did Soludo's campaign, you know, when we call it, is it a strategic campaign that we would call this particular situation now? Because we know that he said some things that we call inducements, but the INEC didn't say anything as regards to it. But was his campaign strategic, and was that what gave him this victory, or what really happened? So I'd like to hear from you.
Together, opposition must come together. It is not the problem of any election, whether the federal or the state. The fact remains that when you have credible candidates and you can mobilize effectively behind that candidate, credible candidate that the people believe in, the people always know where to thumbprint they put their thumbprint on the ballot. And you look at 2023 election is a clear case of when there's a credible candidate on the ballot. Yes, if not because the party did not have agents to be able to protect his vote very well. Peter Obi in that election defeated the current government, and yes, the court has said otherwise. But we will accept the decision of the court. But we must continue to rely on public available data, whether from Premium Time or BBC, as regards the River State and other states, or our election was manipulated. So for the Anambra State election, if you are well versed with Anambra electoral history, you will understand that Peter Obi was not on the ballot. His votes are not transferable. Look at the history. In 2017, it was Obaze versus Obiano. Yeah, that's why his preferred candidate to Peter lost to Obiano that year. Peter Obi still went ahead to mobilize as vice presidential candidate for the PDP in 2019. And he won the entire Southeast more than that. Was the greatest overwhelming victory for the PDP since his inception in the Southeast. So for the Obiano, for the Soludo strategy, money played a major role. He campaigned more than any other candidate. And for the Labour Party, which Peter Obi, if I was Peter Obi, I would have been a normal politician. I wouldn't have gone to campaign for any candidate in that election. Because the candidate himself emerged from the primaries conducted by the Abure-led faction. And Peter Obi belongs to the Nanade leadership of Labour Party. But because he's so magnanimous in his attitude towards political participation, towards simplicity in how you operate the affairs of politics, he decided to at least show some level of support to the candidate. But the responsibility to carry the people along, to show capacity, to campaign in the 21 local government, lies on the shoulders of that candidate. So you cannot transfer Obi's vote. Anambra case is totally different. It has shown in 2017 when Obase contested with Obiano. 2019, Obi cleared the Southeast. You fast forward to 2021, Valentine also contested against Obiano. And of course, you are too familiar with the result of 2023 presidential election. Despite Valentine losing to Obiano, Peter Obi electoral popularity, electoral acceptability was not diminishing in the 2023 election. He won very much all the votes that was cast across this country. So we cannot gather these things together. But what we should look at is how to look at how the APC are focusing too much on the narrative or trying to create a narrative that does not exist. When Peter Obi goes to his polling unit, if you look at the videos, you will see there were buses bringing people, new people were registered. I can tell you that the APC invested so much billions to pre-register people in a polling unit they did not belong, and then brought a lot of money to pay for votes in his polling unit. People ask him, you have to pay the same amount of money to the people they have brought. Obi said, as far as he's concerned, he's not desperate to be president. He's desperate to see Nigeria work. And if a man is desperate to see Nigeria work, he should not be contributing to the activities, to the to the dark work of the politicians that have undermined the progress of this country. So he decided to be who he has always been. So these are not things that diminish Obi in any way. By 2027, when Obi will be on the ballot, the case will be different. Because even the Soludo you are talking today, Soludo contested against Obi in 2010. He was under the party, the Labour Party, the PDP as a political party. The PDP at the time controlled the federal apparatus of power, just as the APC controlled today. But Peter Obi defeated him landslide. So it's not about the political prowess, the acceptability, the appeal of Peter Obi cannot be transferred to any candidate. So if candidates are waking up and saying that Peter Obi is not, people are complaining that this, ask this candidate whether they were able to tour the 21 local government of the state, whether they were able to go around to canvass for vote, whether they were able to go ward to ward to canvass for vote. So this is not a cherry picking affair. When you just do small internet or small video, and you expect that Peter Obi image will carry you along. There's no way.
Okay, Chief Peter.
With Peter Obi on the ballot, the story will be different.
Okay.
The law Peter Obi enjoy in the southeast is not transferable, and nobody can take it away. When he's paired among the people who contest the presidency in 2027, but this time around, what we want to assure the APC is that we mount every of the polling units, and our result will not be allowed to be stolen.
Okay.
Because even if you say, oh, let's form all of us contest together. Yes, we come together. But there are people who do not like some of these presidential candidates. They will never vote for Peter again. There are people who do not like this one. So I believe in putting the credibility of Peter Obi, as it was based on 2023 election.
Okay.
Let's work harder. Let's expand our ability to canvass for more. Let's speak to Nigeria in the terms and relationship and promises that we have to be able to change the downward spiral, the collapse of our economy, the collapse of our infrastructure, and then make sure that we bring a man who is financially disciplined, who is morally upright, to be able to look at how to re-strategize and refinance the whole process so that Nigeria can work for the downtrodden, the vulnerables, and the less privileged.
All right, Chief Peter, I love the fact that you reiterated some strong words there, and of course, which has to do with people. Of course, I've always been a people-driven, a person, okay, wanting that we're all fine and we're all good. And of course, the show is also people's, voice. And of course, my station is also voice of the people. So you can see that everything around us is about the people. Yeah, let me take you on this. Peter Obi is a good leader, and he has done so much in the past, okay, with track records, okay, and he has done several proof of concept as regards to going head to head when it comes to elections, and he wins them. When it comes to gubernatorial, of course, he takes charge and he has won them. He has proven without doubt that his name in the ballot, he can actually come up with something better. But I just want to take you around this particular conversation. Don't you think when a leader, when someone is a leader and quite influential, in this magnitude, he should be able to do what we call, recommendation, a proper power of recommendation, where if he goes out or he comes out for the official, for example, official campaign, flagging off the campaign and saying, this particular person, Moolu is my person, for example, Kachuku is my person, Soludo is my person, please, I want you all to come out in troops to vote for this person. For you to say this man is an influential man, is a man of integrity, okay, and you trust him. If for him to actually come out and present someone, you should know that he has personally vetted this person and he trusts this person, okay, in all ramifications. So I was thinking his influence should also, be a yardstick for the Labour Party gubernatorial candidates to at least, get something good. But when you are saying that as far as his name is not in the ballot, his popularity or his goodwill or, the grace, and the followership that he has cannot be shared, it sends some I wouldn't say negative messages as regards to him not being able to anoint, somebody to say, okay, I put you forward there, go, and the person actually wins the election. But of course, I want you to answer that particular one. And simultaneously, I want to take you through the electoral reforms, which also I would want Dr. Eze to get to be on standby for this particular one as well. You know, the PDP man said that there was nothing like that it was exaggerated. But of course, what are the implications of vote buying allegation and arrest during the election? Because I saw some picture, footages as regards to EFC napping about 3, political agents with cash, live cash, and they had their tags on. Okay, one was APGA, the other one, and all of that. So we saw it, and we don't know what will happen in the coming days. But of course, we need answers to that. And how can INEC improve the electoral process to prevent vote buying and other malpractices? Please, I'd like you to take this.
Well, for vote buying, the people have been impoverished. The people have been dealt with bad leadership, or over the years, and for that reason, they have been broken. So that's what the leaders wanted in ab initio, in order to break the people to a point where all they need to do is to set their own rights in order to survive. What vote buying is an exchange of bribe. You give and take bribe, so it will be trial upon that. So we have always advocated for removing that clause that gives the authority to try an offense where it occurs, especially like those who have been arrested for that vote buying today. You will tell you that it didn't happen in Anambra. So if it was, for instance, allegedly, if that vote buying, the person arrested belongs to Labour APGA, and they say, oh, this is an APGA member, and the case is taken to court by police, the Attorney General of Anambra State can apply to withdraw that case and even discontinue that case with what they call the power of nolli prosecute, and can apply. So that's why we are asking for electoral reforms where these powers that are given to State Attorney General of the states per nolli prosecute are withdrawn, and then probably we follow the Justice Way Electoral Reform Panel and form a tribunal, electoral offenses and other related offenses tribunal, that will be responsible for trying those who have used corruption to undermine the integrity of our electoral process. Having said that, it is also very clear when I said non-transferable vote, I also clear you need to put my analysis together. For the fact that it's not transferable does not mean Peter Obi cannot influence, but Peter Obi can only influence when the candidate that is given as capacity, have enough competence and ability to be able to drive the ticket that has been donated to him by the party. And I also told you that there was no time, based on my own public knowledge as a member of the Labour Party, that Peter Obi influenced the primaries to favor today's candidate. That candidate emerged from a process which Peter Obi was not even part of, from Abure-led primaries. Peter Obi was with Nanade Usman. I, as a person, as a politician, because Peter Obi is a humanist, it's just that he has no choice than to pass through political process to be on the ballot. He's a philosopher, a humanist. I, as a pure politician, I would have distanced myself from those processes, since I could not be able to have the opportunity to put a candidate of my choice. I've been several things. I was 2-time national secretary of IPAC, 2-time national chairman of IPAC. I know a lot of machinations that takes place with the INEC. These processes have taught her that I have the attempt to frustrate the party, all because of Peter Obi's popularity in Nigeria. You could see that Bayo Ononuga is the one who posting things about Peter Obi. You could see that Lagos APC have become the new mouthpiece for attacking Peter Obi, because they are afraid in their spine that if Peter Obi is on the ballot, the same result that he had will resonate in triple-fold come 2027, and that Peter Obi's non-transferable influence, non-transferable love by Southeasterners and Nigerians does not mean it cannot reflect on people. It has reflected in 2023 election. People were elected, people that were not known, people who nobody knew them, people who could not vote by form. They were elected because of the influence of Peter Obi. People who were other in their community. But in this case, there's an issue. I've asked a question. Was there a rigorous campaign within the 21 local government of Anambra State? The Anambra citizens are not. They are not like zombies now. They are more intellectually sound than most electorate across this country. So was there a vigorous campaign? So we cannot now transfer that fault to a leader who have shown his own magnanimity by joining a candidate who he had no hand in making. So that is also, we are supposed to praise Peter for Obi for what he has done. But in the usual case, they are trying to make him a scapegoat. But I am telling you, if Peter Obi becomes the kind of politicians that we have today, politicians that buy votes, politicians that bring military to try to undermine our elections, politicians that force their way into power, I will no longer support him. I am supporting him because of who he is and his non-violent means to power. That is why I'm supporting him. And I believe that if a candidate is given ticket, the candidate must do all the necessary work that needs to be done, because we are not competing, they are competing against an incumbent. So even as we are going to intend to enjoy Peter Obi's influence and love that will be transferred to you, you must put in the work.
Okay. Thank you so much, Chief, for that particular wonderful submission of yours. Let's go to Dr. Eze. Hello, Doctor, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, so, Doctor, I would like us to still talk about these reforms, you know, as regards to this just concluded election. How might the election outcome be affected, you know, by potential petitions or challenges? And of course, what reforms can be implemented to improve the credibility and transparency of future elections in Anambra?
Yeah, thank you so much. I want to just, before I go into your question, let me just take a step back and reflect on what Dr. Peter said. You know, in 2023, I was in the candidate, House of Arrest candidate, Abakari Kiji Federal Constituency, Ebonyi. At a point where the then Governor Mahi said, we no obedient movement in Ebonyi, and nobody can campaign. We don't have a structure and all that. We went in and built an avalanche, built a structure, riding on the popularity of P2B. So you need to work hard first before you begin to annex. So what happened in Anambra? One of the candidates of the new party just came back from Europe 2 weeks before the election, and then he's expecting to do what? So eventually, you need to do the hard work. In terms of influence, in terms of Southeast, in terms of Anambra particularly, P2B is the man to beat any day. Then we talk about reforms. The INEC has shown incapacity to reform itself. You know, when people talk about reforms, what are the reforms? Can we make what we have in our laws work? Because all the other reforms, I don't really trust APC to do any reform. Any reform APC is embarked on is a reform to sabotage the system. So it's better for us to understand what we have and that we're going to a battle and prepare for those battles. The only reform I expect INEC to do and the legislature to do is to ensure that our votes are transmitted right from the polling booth. Any other reform, they should wait. When we get to power, we'll reform the electoral process. Every other thing is tailored was sabotaging the system. Today they said they want to do every election in one day. The next day they said they want to bring back the election clock. All these things are tailored to disrupt the opposition parties. The target for APC, and I must warn, is to ensure that P2B does not have a platform to run, and the people will resist that. We are ready for them, and I like what is happening already. There's something I keep quoting Thomas Sowell. There's a limit to how you can abuse power. Power has a limit. Even during the slave trade, even during the German occupation, they understand that there's a limit you can push power. And APC seems not aware that there's already a point you push power and it will bounce back, and that power is bouncing back, and when it happens it's going to be a problem. Look at every political party, they're all having problems instigated by the likes of the APC and their henchmen. Imagine Bayo Onadogo is the one throwing aspersions on P2B as if P2B is the man who ran the election. Like Dr. rightly pointed out, I'm aware that a lot was done ensure that Peter Obi loses his polling unit. And I must admire the personality of PO, which is where I take a departure from what Dr. Am is saying. That Peter Obi campaign, despite the fact that Moral was not our candidate, shows that you understand symbolism. That leadership is also, I'm a leadership student, that the symbolism, there's an act of symbolism, that despite what is happening, I must also support my candidate. And that's what he has done. That is very, very honorable of him. But for anybody to now say, oh, because of that, that we must judge the last election because P2B lost his polling unit. It also takes a man of character not to be allowed to drag to the gutters. So I admire him. He's one of the reasons many of us. Let me tell you something. Those who are following PO are really majorly people who are intellectually sound, the best of Nigerians. Who P2B support is actually very, very organic. And because it's organic, we understand when if we had the right candidates with the kind of that mirrors the image PO represents, what you saw in the last election would not be what would be the result we are seeing today. We also had candidates who most Labour Party members are even obedient. Just see as one of those people who are taking advantage of PO's influence.
Okay, sir.
After all, the candidate of Labour Party just moved from APC the other day. So we are not even sure if he's even a member of Labour Party.
Okay.